Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Well, the wait is over. You people wanted Ultimatum, so let's give you Ultimatum. Before we begin, though, I of course have to go over a few things. Because I have the most bizarre timing imaginable, I keep releasing videos that are in relation to timely news or a movie that's coming out or something. In this case, it's the fact that there is an event going on in the Ultimate Universe wherein the Peter Parker Spider-Man is dying and he will be replaced by someone else. The catch is that since this is the Ultimate Universe, it's very likely that this change is legitimate and possibly even permanent. The downside is that I don't really care. As I said in the Ultimates 3 review, I don't care about the Ultimate Universe. I've read some of it, and yeah, there are some quality stories, but nothing that made me want to keep reading. But the thing is, since I've read so many horrible event comics from stuff I do care about, I do relate and empathize with those who loved the Ultimate Universe and the characters that were tossed aside in this crap. But hey, as someone who doesn't care about the Ultimate Universe, this should mean that Marvel should release a quality event. They need to convince me, as a non-fan, to get interested in this universe. After all, the best kind of event comics are the ones that, even though you've never read about the characters before, it makes you want to learn more about them. Then again, this is the event book that people keep telling me is the Marvel equivalent to Countdown, so this is probably not going to be any fun. This is a follow-up to Ultimates 3, which I reviewed over a year ago. You might want to check those again to refresh your memory on the events that transpired, though I'll give you a quick summation. The Scarlet Witch was involved in a creepy, incestuous affair with her brother Quicksilver and was killed by a bullet targeted specifically for her DNA by a jealous robot who then wanted to take over the world and replace everybody with robots, which somehow involved sending a clone of Venom to attack the Ultimates, as well as releasing a sex tape, and then Magneto stole the Scarlet Witch's body, and Quicksilver was apparently injured and dying, and Magneto swore vengeance, and everyone just kind of left confused by the whole thing, and somehow Dr. Doom is responsible for it all. There you go, that should get you all caught up. Now let's dig into Ultimatum number 1 and number 2.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a party hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazon and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Since we're reading from the trade, we're not going to look at the covers. Not that the covers were all that great anyway, from what I can tell. Basically, it's just a lot of standing around. We open to the Baxter Building, home of the Fantastic Four, who, in this universe, are teenagers. At least according to the caption box. As such, it's kind of head-tilting, because when we cut inside the Baxter Building, Reed Richards is getting ready to propose to Sue. I don't know, maybe they're 19, but it still seems kind of weird to call them teenagers if he's proposing to her. We see the Thing lifting weights and the Human Torch talking with his father in the kitchen. How many times are we going to have this conversation, Dad? As many times as it takes to get you off your duff and make something out of your life. He's the freaking Human Torch! What, is that not good enough for you, jackass? Meanwhile, at Tony Stark's mansion, our favorite booze-guzzling hero is talking with Captain America. Steve, I wonder how practical it would be to take a bath in a martini. Who needs to swim in money when you can swim in liquor? Valkyrie and Thor are training. Better. Verily, thy skills have improved tenfold, Valkyrie. You should see me in bed, Thor. He has. You two were sleeping together in Ultimates 3. Very verily. Okay, that line was funny. Down in the basement, Hank Pym is trying on the Yellow Jacket costume that his robot duplicate was sporting in Ultimates 3, thinking the technology in it is worth utilizing. Also, the ever-deluded Hawkeye is nearby, pointing out the plot hole in the Wasp letting him stay on the team since, you know, he tried to kill her with bug spray during the original run of the Ultimates. Meanwhile, Peter Parker is talking to Kitty Pryde of the X-Men, Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane Watson, and some bald guy I don't know. I don't know the full details here, but from what I understand, in the Ultimate Universe, Gwen Stacy was killed by Carnage, then cloned or something utilizing Carnage, and there's a love triangle between Peter, MJ, and Kitty Pryde, and they all know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. What, you're here? I didn't even remember bringing you over from the old place. And then there's the X-Men, walking down the street in order to go to a baseball game. However, all of the setup that we just saw goes out the window when we suddenly see New York getting flooded. There's torrential rains and clearly the ocean is overflowing, traveling through the streets rapidly in mere minutes. The Fantastic Four get hit first, with Sue and Reed trying to get to the roof, a whale crashing into the workout area where the Thing was, and Johnny Storm and his dad completely engulfed in water. What the is going on? Oh, I think we all know what's going on. The Ultimate Warrior decided he could fight the pounding of the ocean, and this is just the ocean fighting back! Tony Stark's mansion is easily flooded, forcing Hank Pym to grow giant-sized and search for his wife. Then we see Bruce Banner, drowning, become the Hulk. This is really confusing, since I thought Bruce Banner was under lock and key because of the rampage he went on as the Hulk. Look, you do not exist to stop me from pointing out plot holes as a result of past continuity! Kitty phases through the roof of the subway to get Peter outside of it, telling him to go do his thing. He quickly changes into Spider-Man and swings off. Underwater with the X-Men, we see Angel taking Dazzler and bringing her out of the water. However, she's already dead. And now we begin the kill counter. A lot of people die in this happy little story, and it's all meaningless, pointless deaths. I'm going by Wikipedia for some of these, since it's not explicitly stated in the story if they're dead, but let's start off the counter with Ultimate, Dazzler, Beast, and Nightcrawler. I mean, why would we want characters who have fan bases and probably had their own storylines going on in the pages of the regular books they're featured in to have grand deaths? You know, the kind where they're awesome and end up saving lots of people or dying like heroes. That's just stupid. We want our characters to be completely superfluous and fluff for the story. What's that voice that only I can hear? But this creates an atmosphere where we have to be concerned for every character and wonder who could die next and thus hold us in suspense? Ha ha! What a charming theory that is still idiotic. You still had to kill characters needlessly to create this purported atmosphere, plus it continues the idea that characters are simply disposable, and we should never become emotionally invested in them, or what happens to them, since at any point the fickle writer will decide, I'll kill them to evoke a sense of shock in the reader. This attitude is and always shall be wasteful. And by the by, it's real classy to have a little graphic of an obituary and then having a list of names under Who's Next, implying that the whole thing is a big publicity stunt. Who can die next, eh? Anyway, Iron Man saves Captain America from drowning, and they can't tell where Thor, Hawkeye, and Wasp are. I don't know, it all happens so fast. So many bodies, hard to tell where anyone is. Anyone. Oh my god, that's my liquor distributor down there! No! On a rooftop, Sue believes that she can create a force field big enough to shove the water back, and she makes the attempt. Which briefly turns her into Evangeline, at least with her spine. However, there's simply too much and she falls unconscious. Hey, can you tell me what the hell is going on in 25 words or less? I don't know! You did it in 3, didn't think you had it in you. Hey, another legitimately funny line. It almost distracted me from the widespread death and destruction. Sue is barely breathing and Reed wants to get help, but then Thing tells him that he thinks Johnny Storm and his father are dead too. Where you going, Reed? Reed! I'm gonna go to Office Max! They've got to have something to save them! No, actually he goes into the ocean to confront Namor, believing that the Atlantean is responsible for the tidal wave. They briefly fight, Namor saying that he didn't do it because he'd never knowingly put Sue in danger. Funny, because of the few Ultimate Universe comics I have read, I do recall one instance where you threatened New York with a tidal wave unless she made out with you. Anyway, who cares? Reed knocks him out and wonders aloud who really was responsible for it. We cut to Latveria, which is now encased in ice and snow, including all the people. Not sure how the hell that happened, given the explanation we're going to get, but still. Anyway, he looks outside to see his entire nation has become the other world from Silent Hill's Shattered Memories.
Kind of weather wouldn't even faze the Midwest.
Meanwhile, I'm saying that a lot in this comic, aren't I? Professor Xavier collapses at the School for the Gifted. Not sure why they're not flooded, considering how fast this thing is moving. Though then again, I know nothing about geography, so this could be miles away. He says he knows exactly what's happened, and he sends out a psychic call to... Oh, bullcrap! It's a 2-page spread that I have to turn on its side, but this is the worst offender I've ever seen. It's not even a full-body shot of the Professor. It's his head! The panels featuring all the other heroes' heads are absolutely tiny. I can fit all this on one page, no problem. This is just so damn lazy, I can't even begin to believe it. I don't care if people think I'm whiny about this pet peeve or not. This is atrociously wasteful when you could have put in character development or anything on this extra page. Anyway, Xavier says he knows who's responsible and that despite any past differences they've had, they need to join forces, otherwise he'll kill them all. And so our comic ends with the reveal of the one responsible, Magneto! Oh, also, he's still in possession of Thor's hammer from Ultimates 3, but I call bullcrap on that. Even if the hammer was made from a metal that's magnetic or can be magnetized, I think mystical enchantments about who is actually worthy of lifting the thing would take precedence. Then again, I'm a nerd who thinks about these things, so what do I know? Next, it gets worse. I certainly hope so. People have billed this as being as bad as Countdown. The first issue wasn't all that great, but the situation was set up and it actually feels like something big just went down. On to the second issue. This one begins with the tidal wave over and Spider-Man trying to rescue someone from under a car. Naturally, since even Spidey needs some levity in order to not be crushed by the horror of this all, he's doing some joking. Why does all the really scary stuff have to happen at night? I mean, it's not bad enough that half this city is underwater one second, and then the next second it's not, or all that this death and destruction caused by the world's biggest dirtbag, Magneto. Please stop talking and help me. Jeez, even in the Ultimate Universe, civilians are assholes. Also in the area are several individuals who are using Hank Pym's growth technology from the previous Ultimate books. They don't hear Spidey calling for help, but fortunately the Hulk is nearby. Hulk help Spider-Man! Then Hulk smash Spider-Man! It's kinda funny like that. We cut to the Triskelion, the headquarters for S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Ultimate Universe, where Iron Man is bursting in, carrying Captain America. Wait a second, he was fine in the last issue. Why is he... Oh, son of a... Is this one of those crossover events where important things happen in other books and they never bother to tell us what it was? You know, at least Amazon's Attack had the decency to fill in the blanks. Thanks for leaving out important plot details. Yeah, now it's starting to look like Countdown. So now we meet Ultimate Carol Danvers, and yowza! Okay, 1, why are your hips swayed? 2, even for ridiculous proportions for superheroines, those breasts are ridiculously and unnecessarily huge. I don't get this. If it's fan service, she's wearing a full-body uniform, plus we really don't want to see fan service after millions of people are dead. If it's just that the artist just naturally drew her like that, fine, whatever. But why are her hips swaying? Anyway, she gets a medical unit to help Captain America from being injured by... off-panelitis. Oh wait, according to Iron Man, he woke up fine in the air and then just collapsed. Oh goody, so apparently you can be perfectly lucid after almost drowning, and then just start dying for no reason. Brilliant. Anyway, Iron Man says he needs to go find some booze, get ready to go after Magneto, but then the base falls under attack. Meanwhile, Hawkeye catches up with Hank Pym, who's still desperately searching for the Wasp. Hawkeye starts climbing up him before Pym grabs him. Hawkeye says he wants to help, saying that even though he doesn't like Pym, he also knows what it's like to lose the woman you love. Wow, legitimate character development and emotions! How nicely contrasted against the horrifyingly awful way in which this subplot will end. Meanwhile, the Thing is beside Sue's bed, talking to her unconscious form, when Sue's power starts going haywire and he's knocked through a wall and almost out of a window. Meanwhile, Reed is speeding along in his boat. I don't care that Charles Xavier appeared in my head and said this was all Magneto's fault. A tidal wave drowned New York City, and you played a role in this, Namor. I know it! Wow, you're kind of a moron, aren't you, Reed? He keeps rambling a bit longer before he's suddenly tractor-beamed up to a ship above him, piloted by Dr. Doom. Namor had nothing to do with this tidal wave, or the icy devastation of every man, woman, and child in Latveria. It was Magneto. He's offset the magnetic poles, creating this ecological nightmare. Oh boy, kids, I think it's time for science! Now, once again, a lot of my information comes from my Twitter followers, who I presume to be much smarter than I am concerning this scientific stuff. And I don't want this episode to grind to a halt, so let me speed through this explanation as quickly as I can. The Earth's magnetic poles are constantly moving, some saying around 40 kilometers per year actually, so we know that the poles can shift and in fact have likely shifted several times already. The actual effects of a pole shift, however, are negligible. The worst that could potentially happen is the weakening of Earth's magnetic field, but it would return to normal eventually, and one article I read said that even that probably wouldn't hurt that much either. In fact, the only real effects of a sudden pole shift are to reverse compasses and screw up animals that have an internal sense of direction. The tides have nothing to do with the magnetic field. Primarily, they're affected by the gravity of the moon, which Magneto has no power to control. But even if he did have that, tidal waves are not a result of the moon either. Yeah, that one kind of confused me. In fact, tidal waves are a result of plate tectonics, and in particular, earthquakes. Now, some speculated that anything powerful enough to drastically alter the magnetic poles would probably do a number on plate tectonics, but Magneto's powers have always been based only in magnetism and not anything else. But wait, people are asking, this is comic books. Surely suspension of disbelief should kick in for this sort of thing, right? No, damn it! Suspension of disbelief allows me to say, yes, this person has superpowers that allow him to create and alter magnetic fields. It does not allow me to say, that ability makes him magical and he can do whatever the hell he wants with that power, even if it doesn't make any sense. Believe it or not, we do know how magnets work, Insane Clown Posse. If I let this comic get away with this, all it will do is breed ignorance and stupidity and allow people to believe something that is not true. Hell, I freely admit that I'm an idiot when it comes to science, but all I had to do was ask on Twitter, how does this work, and would this idea work this way? And I got pointed in the direction of science articles. It breeds laziness in writers who can simply make up powers and abilities whenever it's convenient for them. But you know what the worst part is? I can fix this right now! Magneto kidnapped a Latverian scientist who was building me an earthquake machine. Bam! There you go, it was that easy! Earthquake machines aren't exactly scientifically plausible either, but still more so than magnets affect the tides! Now how the hell did he freeze Latveria anyway? Anyway, in case you actually cared about the comic, trust me, you shouldn't, Dr. Doom says that the man they need is Nick Fury. Time for backstory! In another little mini-series, Ultimate Power, Nick Fury, and if you ever wondered why Nick Fury in the movies is played by Samuel L. Jackson, here's your answer, kind of went evil or something, and as punishment they left him stranded in a parallel universe. Oh, and trust me, we'll get the full story there eventually. I'll review Ultimate Power, if only for the artwork of Greg Land, whose style is best known as, how many times can I trace the same image from a porno magazine? As such, this is a follow-up to that. Doom has brought along Zarda, a superheroine from that other universe, who can reopen the portal and get him. Why they need Nick Fury isn't explained. I'm guessing so he can go up to Magneto and yell,
"And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee."
Thor, meanwhile, rides on Valkyrie's Pegasus in search of his love and finds her dead at the base of the Statue of Liberty. However, Thor isn't taking this kind of crap, so he slams his sword into the ground, which makes him travel to Valhalla and... a 2-page spread that I have to turn on its side. And I have to be honest here, this one actually kinda works. The reason why I like this one more than any other I've encountered is because Thor is now confronted by Hela, Mistress of the Dead. Hela is portrayed as being massively tall, and that's where I think 2-page spreads on their side might actually work, demonstrating the sheer size of something in comparison to a figure in the foreground. It's a pity this one is ruined by Hela looking like Dominatrix Barbie and sporting a massive headgear that would make even Strife shake his head and say, "You're overdoing it, lady." Anyway, Thor has come to demand the soul of Valkyrie returned. "Pass my challenge to prove you are worthy of such a gift. Defeat my army of fallen warriors, and you will be rewarded for a price." Agreed! For Valkyrie! Whoa. Oh, sorry about that. The comic suddenly got positively metal for a second there. And who should suddenly show up as Thor, God of Thunder, fights off an army of the dead? Captain America! Yeah, I don't know how he's dead either, and neither does he, but who the hell cares? It's Captain America and Thor fighting an army of the dead so they can reclaim the soul of Thor's lover and partner in ass-kicking. This is freaking awesome! This is fantastic! This is just a brilliant concept, and I don't know how this comic gets such a bad rap with...
And now for something completely different.
We cut back to Hawkeye and Hank Pym searching for the Wasp, and Hawkeye sees something. He decides to go check it out and... Well, remember how in Ultimates 3 the Blob said to the Wasp that he would eat her up? Yeah. Seriously. This is the Blob cannibalistically eating the Wasp. These comics suck! Yeah, I know I'm early and there are still 3 pages left in the issue, but I don't think we can ever quite recover from something as horrible as that! I mean, what the hell, Marvel? Anyway, our comic truly ends with Magneto suddenly showing up at Xavier's academy. He says that the deaths of his kids opened his eyes to the truth, that humanity sucks, and it's done nothing in the last few thousand years but destroy the planet. And oh, go whine on your blog, you psychopathic asshole. I'm sure poets, artists, and inventors only sought to destroy the planet in the last few millennia. Nimrod. Oh, and when Xavier compares him to Hitler, Magneto snaps Xavier's neck. Brilliantly done, Loeb. You screwed up the entire relationship between these two foes and former friends so you could add one more body to the count. And we've still got 3 more issues of crap to get through, people. Tune in next week when Ultimatum, unfortunately, continues.